On the 26th of February, a gallon of regular gasoline in the United States cost $2.96. That was about 5% cheaper than the same week a year earlier, and prices had been drifting downward for months. 2 days later, a supply disruption began overseas, and the price started to climb. The climb took 12 weeks. By the 9th of April, the national average stood at $4.16, a level the country hadn't seen since August of 2022. On the 21st of May, it reached $4.56, 54% above where it had been in February. That was the peak. Nobody could have known it at the time, and the coverage that week doesn't read like coverage of a peak. It reads like coverage of a floor. The day before, GasBuddy published its summer forecast. Gasoline would average $4.80 a gallon between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Patrick DeHaan, the company's petroleum analyst, called it the most volatile summer at the pump in years. That number traveled. It got repeated through the last week of May, which happens to be when American families sit down and decide whether they're driving anywhere in July. Then the price came down. $4.24 on the 4th of June, $4.12 a week after that, and on the 18th, the average slipped under $4 for the first time since the 30th of March. By the 2nd of July, as the holiday weekend arrived and the Energy Information Administration reported gasoline demand running above 9 million barrels a day, it was $3.83. Crude had fallen into the $60 range. Measured against the $4.80 forecast, the summer so far has run about 77 cents a gallon cheaper. The monthly averages give the shape of it. April came in at $4.10. May, the worst of it, averaged $4.48. By June, the monthly average had fallen to $4.05, which means the whole of the spike fit inside a window that opened and closed before the driving season properly began. The people it caught were the ones deciding in advance. The arithmetic on an actual trip isn't complicated. 1,000 miles round trip in a car returning 25 miles to the gallon burns 40 gallons. The summer to date has averaged around $4.03. The same stretch of last year averaged around $3.16. Across the whole trip, the difference comes to about $35. $35 is the premium on a family road trip. It's one restaurant stop on the way down. Scale it and the shape holds. A weekend run of 500 miles costs about $17 more than it did last summer. 2,000 miles, the kind of trip that involves a cooler and a rotation of drivers, runs about $70. A genuine crossing of the country and back, somewhere near 6,000 miles, lands a little over $200, and that is the first number on this list large enough to change a decision. That figure is a national average, though, and the national average is a composite of places that don't resemble each other in any way. Hawaii was at $5.46 last week, California at $5.37, Washington at $5.02, the only 3 states above $5, and a driver in any of them would find the $35 figure close to insulting, because a 1,000-mile trip out of Sacramento costs a great deal more than that against last year. New Mexico, which nobody thinks of as an expensive state, watched its average rise 34% in 12 months, from $2.83 to $3.79, the largest year-over-year increase in the country, and the sort of increase that doesn't show up as a complaint so much as it shows up in what a household quietly stops buying. Indiana went the other direction. Between the 7th of July last year and the 7th of July this year, the average price of gasoline in Indiana fell 1.4%, from $3.10 to $3.06. It was the only state where the price declined at all. The state had suspended most of its gasoline taxes for the spring and summer. A premium sat on every gallon in the country, and Indiana removed a tax of roughly the same size and ended up back where it started. Hawaii and Indiana are now $2.40 apart at the pump. Finder ran a consumer survey this year asking American adults what they were concerned about. 86% named the price of gasoline. That placed it above household bills and above groceries, which came in at 85%. A quarter of respondents described themselves as extremely concerned, the highest such figure for anything on the questionnaire. Groceries are bought weekly. Gasoline is bought every week or two, and its price is posted on an illuminated sign 40 feet in the air. in numerals legible from a quarter of a mile, updated daily to drivers who aren't buying gasoline at that moment and didn't ask. The people who canceled trips in late May were reading a number that was accurate on the day it was printed. Prices were at $4.56 and the forecast said $4.80. What they couldn't read was the 21st of May in the past tense. On the 9th of July, the national average rose 5 cents overnight to $3.84. West Texas Intermediate settled that day at $73.52 a barrel. It has drifted upward since.